entered into World War III / nuclear holocaust yesterday. The president was tweeting like a madman, threatening to destroy an entire civilization if he didn't get what he wanted out of Iran. President shouldn't be able to say stuff like that, man. Um, he's a mad dog with his finger on the nukes, and we're just gonna be okay with this. How are we not doing anything about this? Why is our country not interested in taking him out or reining him in at the very least? What is the UN doing about this? Nothing. They're just hiding in the closet. I don't understand how we can. Oh yeah, now there's a ceasefire. Okay, if that's what we're calling it. I guarantee you, the U.S. is going to be the ones that break it. By the way, $5 says we're the ones that break that, because Trump is out of control. Every time that they've tried to negotiate peace, the U.S. has gone in and bombed them while we were having the talks. So, not too optimistic about that. Either way, are we just supposed to pretend like what went down yesterday, that didn't happen? We're just supposed to go on like everything's normal? Are we just supposed to ignore the tweets of the president, even when he says and threatens these wild genocidal rants? We're just supposed to go, oh, well, Trump, he's hyperbolic. He just says stuff sometimes. Is that what we're supposed to do? The system is broken. That's what I named this live stream. I think it's important to remind everybody how broken the system is, because the temptation is to go, well, Trump is literally the worst thing ever, so I guess I'll vote Democrat next time and everything will be fine. I don't know. I guess it would be better than Trump. You would hope. And maybe you're saying to yourself, well, maybe if everybody would have voted Kamala, everything would have been better. We wouldn't be in this mess with Iran. A war that, by the way, there's no reason for. There was no reason to attack Iran. None of the reasons make sense. They've contradicted each other a million times on why we actually did go to war with Iran. Bottom line, everybody at this point has figured out, I think, that this is Israel's war. They want to take over the entire region. And that's the number one reason why we did this in the first place. And anybody who doesn't understand that, I really need you to catch up quick. I really need you to start paying attention, because Israel was 100% the reason why we started this war. It wasn't because they had nukes. Trump said last year that we took out their nukes. They shouldn't have nukes. Had nothing to do with nukes. By the way, our country has been obsessed with the fact that Iran might have nuclear capabilities since I was a child. Like, this goes back so far. Oh, what are we going to do about Iran? They asked that on the campaign trail for like every candidate as long as I can remember. So learn to say your name, my God. Her? Lone Traveler, I don't understand that comment, but if you could elaborate, I will try to respond. But yeah, I want to go back. I want to go back. I started to talk on if you think that Kamala would have been better. Maybe slightly, but I need to remind you that Kamala was one of the biggest simps for Israel out there. All right? I don't think we'd be that much better off. I think she would have bowed to the whims of Israel as fast, if not faster, than Trump. Okay? We have reason to believe that because she was completely complicit in the genocide of Gaza. She didn't say anything about it. She let it happen. She was okay with it. Anytime she was asked about it, she would say stuff like, oh, well, Israel has the right to exist. She is a yes man for Israel. She was not going to resist their whims any more than Trump. That's my opinion. The only thing that might have been better with her, we wouldn't have had to deal with these obnoxious tweets, these crazy bloodthirsty tweets, right? That's the only thing that I could say would be better under Kamala. And, you know, the other thing I wanted to kind of touch on while I was going live here, Bunya says Trump misses golfing. Sure he does. He loves to golf. It's just so weird how all our politicians love to golf. Let's bet on Trump going to the golf course this weekend. Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah. He's going to forget all about the fact that he almost started a genocide not even 24 hours ago. But the other thing I wanted to touch on is that if you're looking to the Democrat Party to be some sort of savior to get us out of this mess, I don't think that's going to work out for you. And here's why. The Democrats never learn from their mistakes. They never look inward, and they never change. Twice they tried to prop up unwinnable candidates that didn't win a primary. All right. Kamala, they just tried to grandfather her in because Sleepy Joe couldn't finish out another 4 years. Everybody knew it. He was causing everyone a tremendous amount of concern because he had dementia and was like falling over and stuff, falling asleep. It was bad, right? So they're like, well, we can't roll with Joe. He's got to drop out. We're just going to kind of bait and switch and give the people Kamala and hope that they don't want Trump bad enough to vote for her, even though she didn't win a primary. She was an unwinnable candidate from day one. And also it kind of put a bad taste in people's mouth. It reminded them of when they tried to prop up Hillary Clinton over Bernie. And I know that if you Google it, the history books will say that Hillary Clinton won her primary back in, 2016? But that's bullshit. I was there. All right? She stole that crap, and everybody knew that Bernie should have won. There was electricity for Bernie. Everybody wanted Bernie. Everybody believed in Bernie. Hell, I believed in Bernie. I wanted to vote for him, but I couldn't because I wasn't registered to vote, as it turned out, which you all know. I was a Jehovah's Witness. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. So, you know, I didn't really know how politics worked. I didn't even know how voting worked. So they stole the primary from Bernie and then just counted on the fact that we would hate Trump and we would be scared that Trump would win and just vote in Clinton. They did that twice. They tried to do that with two different candidates, two unwinnable candidates they've tried that with. And so you would think that when they had those two very historic defeats that they would look inward and think about, oh, well, maybe we should give the people someone who's actually likable, somebody who's actually going to at least say the things that we want to hear. They probably won't deliver any of the things that they promise, but, you know, at least Bernie said the things that we wanted to hear. But they couldn't give us somebody like Bernie. They had to prop up the most corrupt figure imaginable. That's what they always do, and they're going to do it again too. That's why I say, if you think the Democrats are going to be your savior, I got a bridge to sell you. They're going to probably put in Gavin Newsom or somebody like who's also a shill for Israel, by the way. Let's see the comments. Go pop it off a little bit. Someone says strange username. Well, that's because I was raised as Jehovah's Witness, and it's a play off of Faithful Slave. So my name is Fateful Slave. It's a little different, but then clean out American politics from lobbying and work for the American people. Yeah, I kind of think that the entire system kind of needs to be burned to the ground and rebuilt brick by brick. I don't think there's any saving this two-party system. inevitably you get a candidate who's the same. We don't really have a Democrat Party. The Democrats will campaign on all the things that would make people's lives better. They'll say the things that we want to hear, and then once they get voted in, they get us involved with stupid wars. They end up pursuing the military-industrial agenda and not doing anything for the people whatsoever. So, they're kind of like disguised as Democrats, but deep down, they're the same as the Republican Party on a lot of issues at the end of the day. Hell, I remember when Biden won, first thing Kamala did was she went to the border and she told everybody who wanted to come to America, don't come. Don't. Famous thing, don't come. And it was like a meme about it because it was hilarious. It's just her phrasing and the way she said it was like so weird. It was like, yeah, they went down to the border. These are Democrats. They won. Like, they had power. They didn't do crap for those people at the border. Those kids sleeping in cages. They didn't do anything about that because they're the same party. The Democrats and the Republicans at the end of the day are the same party. Somebody, Pedrism Karma says, is there space for furries in your political ideology? I'm worried about my place in the world. Yeah. Vote for me and I will make sure furries are represented in my cabinet. Matter of fact, my entire cabinet will just consist of furries. So you don't have to worry about that. I invite you to my show next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, New Yorker Rican. All right, cool. I'll look into it if I'm not, already in bed. I work in the morning. About 9 o'clock, I'm starting to kick the bucket. No furries in power, says Brad Pitbull. That's awesome, man. Thank you. You're welcome. You know what? I will fight for your furry rights, my friend. Yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to remind everybody that that while this is the worst thing ever and that Donald Trump is actively trying to burn down the country and the world, that things could be worse, and things are worse because the system is not going to heal. The system is not going to change and fix itself. And, while I guess a Democrat would be better than what we got, don't think that they're going to change. Wow, what a downer. Sorry. I think we need more viable solutions, and this back and forth Democrat Republican name blaming and finger pointing thing isn't working. The only reason why Trump has won twice now is because I think a lot of people who fall in like the sort of centrist political field, a lot of them just want to burn it all down, and like Trump is like the sadistic way of giving the middle finger to the two-party system. I really think that both times there's an amount of that. I didn't fall for it this time because I recognize how divisive Trump is. I recognize how badly he divides the people, how toxic he is. Not to mention the writing was on the wall with the Epstein thing. And the more I thought about it and the more I looked into it, how is this guy not a pedo? Like, it's obvious. Anyways, yeah. Let's see. Brandon May says, my girlfriend's husband has those glasses. Your girlfriend's husband has those glasses? Damn. Cool. That's a cool guy, I guess. People are misinformed and don't care anymore, for real. Metal Shark. Yeah. So true. Old grouch guy. People need to focus on the problem, stop fighting with each other. Absolutely. It was never about Democrat versus Republican. It's really a class war at this point. That's all there is. And by the way, I used to be very firmly conservative because there was a time when maybe we could have fixed our economy by being conservative, by paying our national debt back and all these things. But we're so far gone now, we don't have a shot in hell of paying back the national debt. We don't have a shot in hell of going back to the gold standard, or making the economy thrive just by pulling up our bootstraps and toughening up. Like, things are so far gone now that we literally, like, and by the way, both parties print money like it's nothing. All right. So this whole thing about, oh, I'm a conservative. All right. Well, which one of your conservative leaders actually were conservative with their politics? Like, how many of them actually paid back the national debt? All of them gave handouts. All of them printed money like it was nothing and caused inflation. So if they can do all that, if they can print money like it's nothing and invest it into our goddamn military, then I think it's time for some fucking handouts. All right. I'm sorry. Like, clearly money is nothing to you for your interests. What about our interests? Let's start printing that shit. I'm done with the whole notion of conservatism. It's a bad joke at this point. We need actually help surviving now. All right. Just saving money and being responsible doesn't cut it anymore. We're all out here fucking starving, and our rent's gone up like 300%. So let's see. Somebody's asking about my car. I don't know. That's why we're at war. We can't pay. I'm interested in making a purchase of some of your fluids, either separately or all mixed together. I don't do anything weird with them. I just display them in my foyer on a handmade walnut shelf. All right, super need me. I like your weirdness. All right, I like your vibes. That's a golden comment right there. Somebody says I don't talk to car people. Man, these comments are. There must be a lot of Zoomers or Gen Alpha in the chat today, because I'm having a hard time translating the brain rot. You better watch yourself, kid. I geolocated you. All right, hey, come over, pull up next to me. We'll party. Thank you, Trump, for our glorious oil. Yes, I'm sure once we take over the region, they're going to give us real cheap gas, right? I'm sure that's what's going to happen. Being responsible and saving's been doing me just fine on 18 an hour. Sucks to suck, I guess. Well, you know what? I'm so happy for you that you're 18 an hour, which, by the way, is far beyond the minimum wage. So good for you for climbing the ladder or whatever you had to do to get a living wage. But a lot of people aren't there, and a lot of people haven't been as successful as you. And it's not because they're bad people. It's not because they're stupid. It's just because life is fucking hard, and not everybody has it good. You know what I mean? Some of us have a rough go. Yeah, okay. Speak for yourself. I came to this country the legal route over 22 years ago and have used the American capitalist structure to my advantage. Going quite well at the moment. Yeah, all right. Sure. I'm sure you just came over, you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps. You didn't have any help or support network or anything. It was all just you. Toughen up. Toughen up, snowflake, right? Let's see. Somebody says those glasses are so 2014. 2014 was a better year than 2026, so guilty. You got me there. Super need name. Shout out to my big homie Dixon Cider. I like this person. Old grouch guy. We just took over Venezuela oil, not cheaper. Took the Russian tanker, thousands of barrels of oil, not cheaper. Yeah. The thing is, like, we could take over all the oil in the world, and they're not gonna cut us a break. They're not gonna give us reasonable priced gas. It's the greed of the greedy. Yes, Rex, you're correct. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go back to work. You know, even though I would like our government to serve the people a little more, since they print money anytime they want anyway, I actually do work my ass off, and I'm out of here. I gotta go back. Oh, now the chat's getting in on the Jew conversation. That's fun. All right, faithful slave, I'm out of here.